Back making history with Tuff Trax in the TNT Monster Truck Challenge. Here's the way the qualifications went. 3 lanes of racing in Texas Stadium, but Equalizer had the fast lane at 6.03. Carolina Crusher, Awesome Cause, Master of Disaster, Bigfoot number 4, and Buffalo Tremor are your top 6 qualifiers. They are now seeded into each of the 6 first-round matchups. Most of the trucks will advance out of the first round, but it determines how you're going to move into the second and then hopefully into the semifinal round of competition.
Well, Scott, one thing that's interesting here, and this is where qualifying comes into play. We talked about it with their 2 races. You get lane choice. When you got 3 choices you can make, lane choice is really important, and the kid goes to the middle of the track, the Equalizer. But look at this. Nightlight, Dave White-Sorek nails to the wall in the starting line, trying to pull back. No, White-Sorek puts the kid away in the Equalizer.
So, Dave White-Sorek assures himself of a great seeding for the quarterfinal round. We know the Equalizer will be back as well, but Nightlife gets the win. Truck's looking very hot at the end of the track. Now, the pit area is some 600 yards away. That's a long way for these guys to get back and forth. It's a win to Nightlife, and Dave White-Sorek is standing by right now with Army Armstrong.
Dave White-Sorek, everybody seems to be getting hot with the 3-truck combination. We didn't think that would be a problem at all.
Well, we are. We have to sit down there quite a bit for all the trucks to get lined up before they start us, and I got real hot down there. I'm real surprised.
How does the truck feel good to you?
The truck's sounding real good on this track. I just hope it keeps doing better and better each pass.
One guy that the track was not real good to, the wild hair, Marvin Smith, being towed out of here on the hook. There's Master of Disaster. We talked about Doug Spanier a little bit earlier. Spanier is always a sleeper, Army. He's won several TNT events over the years, so he's always a guy that's a contender to be in that Monster Smash final.
Yeah, but look who he's going to be going up against. One of the brand new Ford Camp trucks, the Jersey Outlaw, Mike Wine and Nick Rossi. Dallas is where they chose to unveil this new Ford, so we've got the classic Ford Chevrolet and another Ford on the far side. They're up on the arm. Oh, Will staying third out in the middle. Look at that. Master Disaster. Now we got trouble. Look at this, trying to shut it down in the big end.
Whoa.
Barely.
Boy, fucking Bronco action.
This is spooky down here, Scott. This is really spooky. I never thought this would be a problem in this big of an arena.
Doug Spanier, the Master of Disaster, wins his competition in the second opening round matchup. Watch it right here. You can see him get the nose way up in the air.
Scott, when he left the start line like a drag car, he actually did a wheelie off the start line. That's a 13,000-pound vehicle.
Had it standing straight up, and had a lot of people in Dallas standing straight up to see if he was going to get her shut down. He got it stopped, and we're ready for our next round of competition, our next matchup in the first round. It's Bennett Clark and the Clydesdale Chevrolet. Carolina Crusher is also there. They're waiting on Bad News. Bad News and Norman Myers out of Oklahoma apparently had some problems after qualifying. We may just end up with 2 trucks in this race.
That's a strong possibility. Again, the heat factor, they qualified, they immediately came back after qualifying, going to the first round. That's where we are right now. The Clydesdale going against the Crusher. Both of them should be able to come back. Now, Gary Porter did something. Watch the shutdown. Hey, man, everybody's aiming for that door at the end. Porter got a lot of air. The truck in front of him did not. The trick tonight could be staying close to the track, Scott.
Trick tonight may also be being in that center lane where you're less afraid to go for it because you know you can shoot straight out the door. There you see Gary Porter.
A lot of air. Now watch the bounce when they come down. This clay is really packing hard.
Gary Porter and the Carolina Crusher getting the win. Army's with Porter. Let's go over and get that interview right now.
Gary, everybody's having all kind of problems, either heat or with their jetting. What's the big problem out here?
It is one of my problems, the heat. You know, he's pitting a long ways off, and by the time I get to the line, the truck's already up to about 170 degrees, and by the time I get to the finish line, it's right at 200.
What about the air density out here? This is kind of a unique building. We're inside, but we're outside. Do you jet the engine different for that?
Well, the air difference, you know, really doesn't bother me that much, you know, with carburetors. But I hope to go ahead and take the win and be the first one to win a race with 3 monster trucks running side by side.
No, you're still in the middle of it. We'll see you in the next round.
Okay, thank you.
Gary Porter now goes back to get ready for the quarterfinal round, but we've got more first-round racing on tap when we come back. The question when we come back will be, will Bigfoot return? We're going to find out. Stay with us on Tuff Trax. Sportscasters love to talk about great matchups on paper. Well, that's what we have here. If it can live up to the advanced billing, this is going to be a doozy. First, you got the Yankee, Steve Wilky, and the 1988 World Champion USA won the True Value truck. He's flanked by a pair of big bad Texans on one side, Steve Kane and the awesome Kong Chevrolet, the janky racing engines ride. The other side, it's the Auto Value GMC, the King Crunch Special, and Scott Stevens from Woodlands, Texas.
Scott, you know one thing. Neither of these Texans are going to roll over, and I guarantee you Wilky's going to hold them to the fire. This one run could be worth the price of admission. It's off. What's going to happen? Side by side to go over the first jump. Wilky starts to come out. He's in trouble. Time up on the throttle.
Hold on to her, Steve. Get the brakes. He's into the hay bales at the end of the track. But that's what they're there for. They get him stopped. And Steve Wilky, a wild but victorious ride in USA 1. Wow. They loved it in Texas Stadium as Steve Wilky comes out of the center lane and just really put the hammer down, not worried about stopping, and barely did stop.
The bounce is what got him. Right here, he comes out of a little lollygaggle to the left. Now, he's got a throttle. He can't turn. He's got a throttle up and goes over that left lane. Good driving. I'm glad the straw was there.
He gets her stopped, no question about it. The victory going to Steve Wilky and the USA 1 Chevrolet. Here he comes out, True Value hat on, ready to go. And truck owner Everett Jasmer there with a high five. Army Armstrong's going to get in there.
Seems like there's all kind of little problems popping up at Texas Stadium tonight. We haven't seen all year long. Everybody seems to be a little bit uptight. What's going on?
Long track, Army. We get the stretch trucks out again. I laid down one that the truck, we changed gears, went back to the outdoor setup on it, and the True Value Master Mechanic Chevrolet is just humming. I come up against Awesome and Crunch in the indoor season all year and had some trouble with them. I owed them, and that's the way she's going to run, Army, I'm telling you right now.
Remember, as we get ready, last year outside, USA 1 was the superior truck. Here's Fanatic, the lady that we were talking about, Arlene Ed. Army, she looked pretty good in that qualifying run earlier.
Yeah, she's a good monster truck driver. She and her husband, this is the first opportunity they have had to come and run with us. They're glad to be here. We're glad to have them with us. Believe me, it's not a rollover. She's going to get a bye run out of that right lane. So she goes to the next round, and she's doing a good job.
The reason it's a bye run, Bigfoot did not make it out. That's what's going on. She was supposed to race Bigfoot, but John Pyatt could not get the truck ready. Another truck breaking from qualification.
Where do we get
three of them out?
Okay, the word we get on the Bigfoot team, they had an electrical problem. The magneto messed up on the truck when it qualified. It made about 5 or 6 big popping sounds. That was an indication of magneto, or the timing went away. Let's go back to the starting line. Who's coming out next?
Buffalo, Tremor, and Tuff Enough. And now watch the rest of the night how Equalizer does. He can regain the world points lead today.
Buffalo, Tremor did the same thing the Master Disaster did. They've got some kind of a trick, because when they leave the start line, it's like a dragster going wheels up, and he goes right out the door. This building may not be long enough, Scott. I can't believe it.
It's a win for Buffalo Tremor. Tough Enough blowing out a lot of steam, and he had a pretty solid run. That ought to give him a decent seeding into the quarterfinal round. But John Kwasniewski out of Buffalo coming up with a victory in the first round of 3-lane competition here at Dallas, Texas at Texas Stadium. Well, you know, the fans in Texas enjoying the best, the TNT Monster Truck Challenge, and you can watch for TNT Monster action all around the country, like Pueblo, Colorado, June 8th and 9th, June 9th and 10th, the Figure 8 course at Louisville Motor Speedway in Louisville. Coming up June the 15th and 16th, it's the fantastic Richmond International Raceway in Richmond, Virginia. Come on out and see the TNT Monsters in Bowling Green, Ohio in late June.